Spanish Inquisition.
Hey everybody, it's Aunt Bibi. Today is Wednesday, February 10th, 2021. I'm Barb Hammer. So I've been kind of missing in action, and that is because of, in part, or mainly because of the new wave of censorship, online censorship. So this is a clip from Monty Python's Flying Circus. Ironically enough, a BBC production back in the early 70s when they could produce programming like this that was kind of contrary to the establishment and questioning the establishment. So nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. So Monty Python, comedy, sketch comedy show from the early 1970s. I watched when I was in high school. The public broadcasting, PBS, was showing these programs, and I'd watch them, and friends and I would talk about them and laugh about them. So nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition, and we return to those days in a way, you could say, with the new wave of censorship, online censorship. So Spanish Inquisition one is about weeding out heresy in Spain in I guess 16th century Spain, I guess. And it was interesting. This happened after the Moors had been expelled, and I think the Moors were rulers who were very tolerant of diversity. It was a very diverse society, but once Spanish Catholics seized back control, they had to weed out elements like that. So the new heresy is now, the new censorship is trying to weed out the heresy of conspiracy theories. And I've been seeing a lot of this. I got a YouTube suspension for a week, and Twitter banned my account. And I guess so. The YouTube suspension was over a video. They accused me of they gave me a community guideline strike for medical misinformation. It had to do with COVID. So I put that video on BitChute, and then Twitter. I had a strange week during that suspension. Was getting threatened on Twitter more than once. A lady, Chinese Malaysian lady, I considered a friend. I'd met her in person last year. She blocked me. That was the second time she blocked me. So she had kind of come around. I'd point out some odd things about cognitive infiltration and among supposedly pro-China media figures, and she was coming around. She understood what I was saying. She knew I was trying to tell people what they didn't want to hear, but they needed to hear. But she couldn't handle it. I realized she couldn't handle the truth, so she got mad and abusive and was very angry. But she blocked me, and so that's kind of a form of censorship too. When a friend, someone you consider a friend, I guess she wasn't really my friend. I thought she was a friend, but she wasn't a friend. Shut you down like that, and then Twitter suddenly banned my account, gave me a permanent suspension. It suddenly appeared on the screen for no reason. Normally, they give you screenshots of the offending tweets as reason for the suspension, but in this case, there was no reason. So I know I was going too far. So, conspiracy theories, it's just a label. So anybody who questions the official narrative is considered crazy, and so they're given this label, conspiracy theorist. And so if you're talking about reality versus a psychological operation that the establishment, the ruling class, is conducting, you're considered crazy. So this happened again to me recently on Facebook. So I was pointing out the suspicious background of Max Blumenthal and the gray zone assets, and a person just said I was crazy. I get this label, crazy old lady. Crazy lady, and I realized that a lot of these accounts that are doing that, they might vary. I don't know. I'm starting to suspect that maybe they're paid to promote Max Blumenthal and the Gray Zone Gang and that network. And it just seems like we are being overwhelmed with psychological operations. And there are just so many of them. It's just overwhelming. But you're not supposed to question them. So you can say, oh, well, that's not real. And this is what reality is. Well, that's considered crazy. So this is the Spanish Inquisition. People um, have made some reference to Spanish Inquisition and heresy, these terms. And it's like we're in a cult. We're in a corporate cult, and you're not supposed to question all these psychological operations, psyops, and false flag is a big part of it. And I realized social media has become they've become psyops. Social media platforms have become psyops. People are manipulated. They think it's a public forum, and it's not really. It's just these private big tech platforms that are being censored now, manipulated. People are being manipulated. And Twitter just seems like it's mostly fake accounts, or it's like a network of, there are like a couple of main networks of fake alternative media and fake accounts to prop them up. It seems like there's two main networks. The big one is the Max Blumenthal and Caitlin Johnstone network, and it seems like they're very much connected to Jack Dorsey. And I was constantly questioning that, and I had made that connection. I think that's one of the reasons maybe that I was suspended. So I must have been on some list of accounts that needed to be gone from that platform. I don't know. It's just so all very well. It's like we're in a corporate cult. So like the CIA and big business, they love to use cults to control people and for their regime change operations. And we're in what I've called the mother of all regime change operations. It's like color revolutions galore. Um, so yeah, psychological operations and being labeled crazy, Spanish Inquisition, heresy. So this came up actually when Donald Trump's Twitter account, so this is back in January, when Donald Trump's Twitter account was being, I don't know, he was essentially not allowed to post on Twitter. And so the Mexican president, AMLO, as he's known, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, um, he referred to this social media censorship as the Spanish Inquisition. Yeah, so here Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador has pledged to spearhead a global campaign against internet censorship, insisting platforms cannot act as a Spanish Inquisition or stifle free speech using safety as a pretext. And there were other leaders. I think Angela Merkel questioned this. There have been others. So recent video of Scott Creighton's on his Church Dog 42 channel, there was a viewer, and they know who they are, and I don't want to name them because I don't know, but they gave this link, very good link, and it's about conspiracy theories, and it talks about it compares them to, I think down here, yeah, a new Inquisition. So it's a function similar to that served by the term heresy in medieval Europe. So it's talking about conspiracy theory. In both cases, these are terms of propaganda used to stigmatize and marginalize people who have beliefs that conflict with officially sanctioned or orthodox beliefs of the time and place in question. If, as I believe, the treatment of those labeled as conspiracy theorists in our culture is analogous to the treatment of those labeled as heretics in medieval Europe, then the role of psychologists and social scientists in this treatment is analogous to that of the Inquisition. And that's exactly right. So recently, I think the last day or two on Facebook, there was a Latino fellow in the US, and he seems to promote Max Blumenthal and his Gray Zone gang and that network of fake left, fake anti imperialists. And I said, are you familiar with Max Blumenthal's background and Ben Norton's and the others? And he immediately just said I was crazy and said I was off my meds. He didn't have any arguments. I posted links, screenshots, and links to articles about their background, and he just constantly was saying I'm crazy. So I became convinced, if this guy isn't just, he might not just be gullible and stupid, although people are pretty gullible. And that's sad. It's very discouraging. Um, he had to admit that I had a point, but he was still saying, go away, crazy lady. Um, I became convinced a lot, he is probably paid, or that's his job, is to prop up Max Blumenthal and his gang. And it's just really sad that it just seems like the real journalists now are just ordinary bloggers. They're not professional journalists. They're not doing it for money, you know. And it just reminds me of how real journalists, bloggers like Scott Creighton, are being persecuted. But our focus is supposed to be on WikiLeaks and poor Julian Assange. So a mainstream media figure we're supposed to feel sorry for. And but I have talked about in videos about Julian Assange, and he's just a regime change asset. WikiLeaks is a honeypot. It just suckers people in, and they're supposed to think, that's where we're going to get our truth. And Julian Assange, he demonizes targeted countries. And I made the point about, it's key. China is key to understanding why WikiLeaks and Julian Assange are frauds. And there's a quote of Julian Assange's that's really very striking. Another key aspect to understanding what a fraud WikiLeaks and Julian Assange is this quote of his. So, I'm constantly annoyed that people are distracted by false conspiracies such as 9/11, when all around we provide evidence of real conspiracies for war or mass financial fraud. Well, the 9/11 WikiLeaks was created to undermine the 9/11 truth movement. And that's what got Scott involved, is he started to look into 9/11. And he looked at it in detail, and so he became part of that movement, and he questioned 9/11. But Julian Assange says, no, 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 don't go there, don't go there. So for obvious reasons. So we're not supposed to look at reality, otherwise you're crazy. You're just supposed to be like a fake left, fake anti-imperialist, like Julian Assange. And Scott is being slapped, so Julian Assange, and everybody, oh, poor Julian Assange, he's being tortured and persecuted. And well, and nobody knows about Scott's case, except if you know about Alex Jones. So Scott is being found he's a victim of guilt by association, because he's being sued along with Alex Jones over the 2017 Charlottesville Unite the Right rally. So Scott, he's being sued. It's a strategic lawsuit against public participation, and it's intended to silence him, harass and silence him, and ruin him financially. And it's just become that started in 2018, so we're coming up on 3 years of that lawsuit. And it's So probably won't end till next year, I guess. I don't know. It's being dragged out. So um yeah, it's just very discouraging what's going on. Um yeah, so we're being repressed. So anyway, a little bit of humor. I'm trying to laugh these days. Things are very dark. Anyway, here's a little bit of humor from Monty Python. Again, this is from um, Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Help! Help! I'm being repressed! Bloody peasant! Oh, what a giveaway!
Yeah. Help, help, I'm being repressed. Oh, bloody peasant. Yes, we're peasants. We're peasants. Uh, yeah, so I know, very dark times. So it's the new Spanish Inquisition, censorship. It's just crazy. So we have to self-censor these days. If you want to stay on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, you have to self-censor, and then the alternate platforms are like mainly they just seem like right-wing echo chambers now. So they're not really solutions if you're on the left. Um, um, it's just they're just psyops, just psyops galore, and the social media platforms are psyops too. I don't know, everything's a psyop. Um, and if you question the official narrative, you're just crazy. I'm constantly called crazy just because I'm pointing out reality and facts and evidence. Oh, but that's crazy. Can't do that. Um, anyway, so very dark times, very discouraging. I'm not optimistic at all. So that's why I would kind of binge watching programming and watching comedies and movies and whatever. So anyway, so on a happier note, I'm going to end with this. More Monty Python.
Always look on the bright side of life.
Yep, that's it. So anyway, thanks for your patience. And I hope to talk to you again soon. Okay, bye.